Hello, Facebook Live, Facebook family, CSL Greater Boston. Welcome to our sanctuary on this blessed day, Sunday, September 29th. We are so grateful to have you live streaming with us. We are one in the one mind, so just know that we are all present in consciousness. Wherever you are, God is, and we are all here in the oneness. And my talk today is healing our planet. The topic for the month is ensure the stewardship of the planet. So spirituality in action, stewardship. I love our planet, September 2019. And as I contemplated in meditation the talk, I guess I felt a pull in my heart to talk about how it's so important to care for Mother Earth or Gaia. And I also thought Mother Earth is a reflection of our collective consciousness because we are one. And Mother Earth is the body of God. So since Mother Earth is the body of God, we are also the cells in the body of God. And if you, in my imagination, I think, well, maybe the earth, or, so the one power and the one presence is infinite. So if the cosmos is the body of God, maybe the earth is the heart, but maybe that's my ego. We might be the bowels. I'm not sure. I thought that's my little ego, thinking that we're the heart. But we are cells in this beautiful body of God. And I thought, well, okay, if we are cells in the body of God, how many, let's estimate how many cells there might be. So I wanted to know how many species existed on the planet right now. And from what I've read, we have recorded about 1.3 million species, but the University of Hawaii, as recent as 2014, estimated that there are 8.7 million species on the planet, of which we only make 15%. So there are 8 billion human beings and 8.7 million species. We take up about 86% of the space, but we are about 15% of the life on this planet. So when you just take that in, I just sat in awe. My awe became a prayer of thanksgiving to the majesty and the mystery of the Most High as creator, as divine architect, as a designer, as the divine inventor, that there is so much abundant life. And yet we so many times in our lives walk around with ideas of scarcity, and they're actually impossible. Nothing is scarce in the cosmos, in this universe. We are unlimited beings. So we are walking around in the midst of this unlimited, magnificent abundance, thinking that there isn't enough. And yet that's not true. So I'd like to read a quote from Ernest Holmes, our founder. And I'm a little old school Facebook viewers. I printed up stuff, but I'm going to read them so you can follow along. Every day and every hour, we are meeting the eternal realities of life, and in such degree as we cooperate with these eternal realities in love, in peace, in wisdom, in joy, believing and receiving, we are automatically blessed. Our prayer is answered before it is uttered. Ernest Holmes. And the next one. Back of you, the infinite surges into manifestation through you, as you, what you are. It is you. We don't have to be ashamed of it. You don't have to say, I despise my personality, I hate my body, I am a worm of the dust, and think you are surrendering to God. This is a denial of God. All we have to say is, there is nothing in me but God. And from what we believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind. Ernest Holmes wrote the Declaration of Principles, also known as What We Believe, for the first issue of the Science of Mind magazine, published in 1927. So as we contemplate loving Mother Earth, loving nature as the body of God, we as truth students, we know that there is nothing to heal, that we are in oneness complete, that we are whole, that we are the very manifestation of the one who forever is. So there is nothing to heal. If there is nothing to heal and only truth to be revealed, then what truth needs to be revealed about our planet? And the same way that we treat, and in the Science of Mind, treatment means affirmative prayer. We pray for our colleagues, we pray for ourselves, we pray for the world. We can treat and know the highest vision, that this world, this planet is whole and complete and divinely perfect, no matter what is going on. So with all of this appearance of ecological changes that can bring up so much fear and anxiety, we as truth students are grounding ourselves in the knowingness that everything that we look upon is already perfect. That it is an outward physical manifestation of the one presence, of the absolute, of God, of source, of the divine matrix, and that there is nothing wrong here. There is nothing wrong here. So, it's important that as we hold this truth, we embody this truth, and that we walk the walk. So even though we know that there is a divine perfection in and through and all around us, we also take steps. We also take steps. The same way I have to get up, I do my spiritual practices. There are things that we can do to live in more equilibrium with the beauty that has manifested as Mother Earth. So we recycle. We learn, we study. We don't get embroiled in fear when we hear about what's happening ecologically. But we know the truth, but we become conscious stewards, conscious global universal citizens of this beautiful planet. We recycle, we buy products that are not going to harm Gaia, our mother. We are aware of our relationship to all of these other beings. They are also our brothers and our sisters in God, in the one power. So we make sure that we're not purchasing products that would harm their existence or actually eliminate life on the planet. Every day, 200 species go extinct. As I was preparing the talk, I didn't know whether I should share that, because I thought, wow, that's such a downer. But one thing that we don't do as truth students is a spiritual bypass. Ernest Holmes didn't, when he created the Science of Mind philosophy, we don't deny the existence of life or this reality. We don't deny illness. We don't deny the appearance of things, but we know that there is only one truth. And that truth is the greater reality of whatever is appearing. So as we, as human family, as we begin to hold and change the race mind idea that there is separation, that there is something that it's us and them, as we begin to hold this vision, this new belief of oneness, life will renew itself. New species that we never even knew existed will suddenly be recorded, found, discovered. So the change that needs to occur is a change that must occur in our consciousness first. So as we make these changes and as we stand up for life, infinite life everywhere, and that this life should be expressed freely, gracefully, powerfully, we know that the change that must occur occurs within us, first and foremost. Out there in the vast riches of outer space, and here equally in the vast riches of inner space, everything is in order. Our task is to begin to understand that the universal mind is resident everywhere and also of necessity within us. Our prayer is that the truth be made known and it cannot fail to be revealed from the science of mind. The science of mind teaches that the physical universe is real, but it's a derived reality, an effect emanating from the true reality of spirit. The metaphysical meaning of environment is surroundings. Our consciousness is our real environment. The outer environment is always in correspondence to the thoughts making up our consciousness. So the outer environment is always in correspondence to the thoughts making up our consciousness. So what we see manifesting, wars and the rumors of wars, ecological pollution, species going extinct, is an outer reflection of our inner state of being, the collective race mind, or mass thinking, humanity's thinking, the thoughts that we are putting out that are manifesting out in the world. And every single one of us is a powerful participant. Every single one of us has a choice in our thinking. And if we choose to remember the truth of who we are and whose we are, we can change the outer. The wars will cease and the earth will be renewed. The earth will be free again, in peace again, in harmony again, as we embody these spiritual principles within our consciousness, as we align with universal truths that are eternal, that are the same today, tomorrow, and forever. So as we walk the walk, we take the steps to use ecologically friendly products. Nothing is too expensive. We can afford everything. It's important to stop thinking, well, I can't afford organic food, I can't shop here, I can't shop there, only those people do that thing, only those people are vegan, only those people care about the earth. We are all called as cells in the body of God, communicating with each other. As cells we communicate. So we are all worthy and deserving of the best life, of the best nourishment, physical, mental, and spiritual nourishment. And you can afford everything. We hold that in consciousness for the world, that every child is fed nourishing foods, that people live in safe, green spaces, that there is enough abundance where people can be outdoors and indoors, that cities are filled with growing abundant trees, and that new sources and new resources to help humanity live in balance will manifest right here and right now. We know this, and as truth students, we begin to hold these ideas, and they will come to pass. So as we hold these ideas, we can also hold the idea that we are tender with Gaia, and that she is in turn tender with us. That we are spirits having a human experience. So we love our bodies. We cease from saying I'm too old or I'm too fat. I'm not tall enough. I'm not the right shape. I'm not the right race. I'm not the right gender. As divine creations of the one power and the one presence, as we embody a tenderness for ourselves, it will begin to be reflected in our relationship to our earthly divine mother, expressing as Gaia, the feminine, the divine mother. And so much will be healed. As we love ourselves, we can love each other, we can love all the species, we can stop from destruction, and we can manifest the wholeness that we are, the wholeness that the earth is, right here and right now. And we must be willing to change. As we embody these concepts, as we come to a new life, a new regeneration, a new restoration of the earth, of our consciousness, of our thinking, of our very beingness, we must change. We must change our thinking in order to change our lives. And as we change our thinking and we embody these high-minded truth principles, as they become our very beingness, as we practice them in our daily lives, we will see change manifest all around us, easily, effortlessly, peacefully, and with grace. So we become this change by using our spiritual muscles. Do we meditate? Are we studying spiritual texts that uplift us? Are we turning off the news? Are we listening to the world, or are we listening to the Most High? The broadcast of God is everywhere. Are you downloading that broadcast? Are you listening to the naysayers, or are you getting together to tell a vision to each other? Or are you letting the powers that be create your life, create a vision of your life that you are not in accord with? Whose planet is it? God's? Or all the stuff, all the messages? Who's the president of your universe? God? Or someone else? As I see people stressing and talking about what recently happened, and I know friends who are losing sleep, who's the president of your universe? These are the questions that we ask ourselves as truth students. Who is in charge of my life? And as I am one with this power and presence that is never in absence, as I begin to hold and anchor these truths in my everyday life, thinking them, feeling from them, acting from them, my world will begin to change. My consciousness, my very being, my body temple will revitalize, will rejuvenate. Age will cease to be something that you fear. You will be filled with the light of the Most High. Your body will be lighter and vibrate clearer like a glass of water. Ernest Holmes says, awakening is like pouring water into a muddy bowl. Over time, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. Join me. Do you want to be a crystalline clear glass of water? Let's practice these principles of knowing who we are and whose we are every single day. Let's know the earth is free. She vibrates with love and peace, power, beauty, majesty, and joy. I am filled with the wholeness of God. I am perfect. I am healthy. I am vital. I am youthful. I am ageless because God doesn't age. My bank account has a circulation of abundant money, wealth, prosperity. I am a channel for the good of God. I manifest my creativity. I'm living on purpose. I know my purpose. I'm in joy. Let's know these truths every single day, and the earth will change right in front of our eyes. We will see ourselves, our light beingness, reflected everywhere on this planet. As I began to awaken a few years ago, oh gosh, that sounds like such a big word. Quite honestly, as I began to practice these truths in my daily life, little by little, 1-minute meditations, looking in the mirror and saying, I am joy, I am whole, I am complete, as I rush through my day with clients, saying that I'm rich as I walk through my house and up and down the stairs. I work from my home. I would say, I'm so rich. I'm filled with the richness of God, and it's manifesting everywhere. I started about 6 years ago taking walks in nature, and then I became a runner. And I noticed a very, very interesting occurrence. I would see hawks. I would run in Franklin Park. We have a wonderful park here in Boston that's similar to Central Park in New York. It's lush, it's green, there are hills there. And I would see hawks throughout this beautiful green space as a runner, and I thought nothing of it. And then one day, I came out of my house, and there was a hawk right on the lamppost in front of my door. And it was gigantic, a red-tailed hawk, magnificent. And people were stopping on the street and gathering, and it was hunting a pigeon. I didn't know that it ate birds, yikes. But it was magnificent and mysterious and awesome. And then I began running, and hawks would fly over my head. There was a hawk that flew over my head one day, and I almost fell to the ground because it was so close. And I saw this shadow over my head, and I felt very panicked. And then one day I went out to my car, and there was another hawk, and I thought, okay, that's a little weird. Interesting, third hawk. And then one day I was seated all by myself at about 11 o'clock at a cafe, and a hawk, there was a beautiful little squirrel about 10 feet away from me on the ground, and a hawk swooped down and picked up the squirrel, and I screamed so loud that people ran outside of the cafe. But I thought, the hawk, didn't you see it? I could have touched the hawk. It was so close, swooping down for the squirrel. No one saw the hawk. Okay, I'm seeing these hawks. And then one day while driving to a workshop in Lexington, a hawk hit my windshield. I was driving about 50 miles an hour. I didn't get into an accident. I slammed on my brakes. All the cars on the incoming traffic side and on my side stopped. I got out of the car because I was stunned. Was the car damaged? So for a moment I was covered under a wingspan of hawk feathers. And it flew into the forest. I don't know if that beloved creature was harmed in any way, but the woman in the SUV across the way was like, oh my God, that hawk covered your whole car, and then it got off and it flew into the forest. And then I thought, okay, Spirit, hawks are hitting my car now. Maybe since God is an expression, expressing in and through nature, because nature is the body of God, this particular cell was trying to talk to me, another cell, because we are all cells in the body of God. I began to see hawks everywhere. And I would mention it to friends. And I traveled to California, and I'm sitting in the backyard. I was house sitting for a friend, and in the tree was another red-tailed hawk. That's when I said, okay, Spirit, you're speaking to me. So I speak to this. I mean, the hawk is quite a majestic animal, But God, Spirit, the divine, the quantum field will speak to us as individual cells through nature. Many times as we begin to awaken and have a love affair with the Creator, its beings, the 7 million beings, will begin to speak to us, will bring us messages and guidance. And as I saw this beautiful, magnificent being over and over again, I knew it wasn't a coincidence. It was a coincidence. It was happening for a spiritual reason in my life. So I ask you today to think about how Mother Nature will send a brother or a sister to speak to you. And possibly, if this is occurring in your life, look up the spiritual significance. So I'd like to read the significance of the hawk, since it appears to me constantly. Here's how seeing hawks often may give insight into your life. Hawks scan their environment from high above the ground, looking for potential threats and sources of food. If you see hawks showing up in your life frequently, it may be a call to see things from a higher perspective and focus on your observational skills. The hawk symbolizes the ability to use intuition and higher wisdom in order to complete tasks and make important decisions. When I began to see the hawk in my life, I was contemplating ending a relationship that wasn't serving my higher purpose. I was contemplating my life purpose as a minister, as a practitioner. I was thinking about where am I going? And I also had some small things that were keeping me stuck in the rut. Worries about lack, worries about health, and I realized that Spirit was trying to show me through the hawk to fly above it all, to see beyond, to see with a higher spiritual perspective, to trust in my God guidance, my intuition. Hawk represents messengers of the spirit world. Seeing them definitely means the universe wants you to learn powerful lessons and to expand your knowledge and wisdom. Hawks also encourage you to use laser focus and precision to get things done and to take the lead in life. So if you see hawks often, it means reach for incredible heights in your spiritual practice. Trust your intuition. See from a higher perspective. Meditate. Go in the oneness so that you will have visions, guidance, and direction. So as I befriended the hawk symbolism in my life, and I received the messages from seeing all of these hawks, and I acted on these messages, my life began to change. So I'd like all of us to know that God expressing in and through Mother Earth, which is the body of Spirit, of the source, of this infinite intelligence. We are all cells in the body of God, communicating with each other, and it's time to love ourselves. Of course, to love the Most High first, because we are one. This power is in and through us and everywhere present. And therefore, we will become better stewards of this planet, of each other, and of all life. And so it is.
Martina, it was beautiful. So now, staying in this moment of oneness, you may close your eyes, you sit back and relax as I deliver a spiritual mind treatment. the purpose of this treatment is for me to know that each one here is the president of their universe, is the oneness with Source. And that is all there is. I know that there is one energy, there is one life, there is one source. There is one grand, divine, intelligent, creative mind. And this mind and this source is all there is. This source and this mind is all love, is all beauty, is all grace, is all patience, is all abundance, is life itself. That this source is God in its many expressions. That this source is all there is. This source is back of everything. This source is the absolute. This source is the Mother, the Father, the God. This source is life itself, and it is all there is. It is all powerful. It is all knowing. It is all present. It is everything, seen and unseen. And I know that I am one with this source. I am infused with the life energy of the divine that moves through the cells of my body, that I express and I think God's thoughts. I see with the eyes of God as expressed as Vicky. I am completely in oneness with Source. I am God in flesh. And I know that this is true for me, and it is true for each one here today, and each one watching on Facebook Live. That each one here is the divine individual expression of God. That is the true essence of their being. There is nothing else. Everyone here, each one here, and on Facebook is an individualized expression, an aspect of God showing up as themselves, showing in all their individualized beauty, in all their creative expression as the divine. And that is the truth of each one's essence. That is the truth. Spiritual beings having human experiences. And so today I claim for each one here that there is only oneness with Source, only oneness with God, that each one here not only knows and feels but embodies this complete and utter oneness, that each cell in their body vibrates with life itself, that the energy centers of the body are all lit and emanating life itself, because this is God. This is God in action, expressing through each one. And that each one here knows only oneness and wholeness, that they have a consciousness of being one with Source. And this is expressed right here and right now for each one as aliveness, as vibrancy, as life, as peace, as joy, because there's nothing else but that. That this is expressed in oneness with the universe, that the consciousness is alive, and as each one looks out with their eyes and they see nature, they only see the truth, which is pure love and pure abundance. That there is nothing but abundance, because that is who they are and is being expressed beautifully in nature and earth, in everything that is seen and unseen. That the beautiful raindrops that each one sees, they know they are infinite. The drops in the ocean, the sand, snowflakes, there is no end to this. It is infinite. It is of God. And they, each one here right now, I claim, knows that that is the truth of their life, that that is the truth of their essence, that there is no need, there is no lack, there is no separation, because those things are false. Those things are not true. That they know that in their oneness, There is only God, and in God it is infinite. And this, for each one here today, brings them inner peace and calm and a restfulness, that there's no need for exertion, there's no need for effort, there's no need for tiredness, because God energy expresses beautifully and completely through and as each one here today. And this is the way life works. This is the way it is. And I claim and I see this light for everyone here. And I am so grateful that there is only oneness and unity with all of life and with all of nature. That this is the truth. That this is the truth. I give gratitude for the abundance, the infinite abundance of the universe. I give gratitude that each one here is the president of their universe. And in that, knowing that they are one and there's only wholeness and unity. And I release my word into the action of the law and cause and effect, knowing that it is complete, knowing that it is done, and knowing that it is final. And I end this treatment by saying, Amen, blessed be, and together we say, and so it is.
So if you could take the second page with less stuff on it, and let's say the affirmation together. The earth upon which I walk and stand and live is holy ground. Can we say it again? The earth upon which I walk and stand and live is holy ground. And so it is.